ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य निरञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथामयं ददाति स्वपदातिकं वन्देऽहं गुरो श्रीरुद्रकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगनारघुनाथामितं तां सचिवत्सादेतं साधुतं वर्जनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादा सगनाललितां श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्णकरुणसिन्धौ दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita status. Right now in chapter 5, we are into the second part of this chapter, which is fixing the mind on Atma. Karma Yogi remains free from bondage. So we are in shloka number 12, and shloka number 12 is more on characteristic of Yoga Yukta. So between so he seeks purification and tries to attain peace, works for supreme detachment and never gets entangled, but remains self-control. So this is the main context being discussed in this shloka 7 to 12, which is characteristic of Yoga Yukta, one who follows a prescribed proper sadhana. That is what we are looking into. And let us go to the shloka number 12. So in shloka number 12, what we discussed was uh, the person who is steadily devoted attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with divine, who is greedy for roots of labor, his labor becomes entangled. So Krishna is here giving the solution for coming out of the entanglement. So when we see the shloka number, when we see this, when I act, will it cause bondage? The point Krishna is making here is that it is not the work which causes the bondage. So here, what is being told here in this shlokas is that motivation for work causes the bondage. A person who does not have a selfish motivation will not get bound. And to be more specific, when somebody works for Krishna, then there is no bondage. Krishna knows that Arjuna is longing for peace. Therefore, he says in text number 12 that this type of a steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities. So, in this case, steadily devoted soul here refers to Arjuna will get unadulterated peace because he offers the victory or defeat of his fighting to Krishna. um, Person who is not related with Krishna is greedy for escaping from the war, and thus he becomes entangled. So the motivation here is Krishna. Krishna, so if you see, let us go to the shloka. If you see shloka number 4.39, Shraddhavan lavate jnana tatpara sametendya jnanam labdva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. So it is not the first time that this peace is discussed. It is also discussed in this shloka. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge, who subdues his senses, is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it quickly attains spiritual peace. So in this, so this also is talking about Param Shanti. Here also it is talking about Param Shanti. Here also Palam Tokka Shantim apnoti naistikam. He gets Shantim, peace. So in this verse, this Naistikim, which refers to Prabhupada is translating as unflinching. It means unflinching and unadulterated peace. People may put up a big facade of peace in the world. When any big agitation comes up in this world, the peace gets completely challenged and disturbed because of attachment to material things. When one is not attached to the material things, then the peace is undisturbed. So here, the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge that we need to work for Krishna, that brings peace. And because we have very clear in what um, the Karma Yogi knows what he has to do. His motivation is to serve Krishna. Therefore, all actions are easily here. All actions can be easily dovetailed for Krishna's pleasure. Therefore, Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, oh Arjuna, do not think that by avoiding the war, you can bring peace. It is only the detachment from the things of the world that can bring peace. This knowledge also will bring peace. Therefore, Krishna is asking Arjuna to act in Karma Yoga. This action will purify Arjuna from material attachment. Then it will cause. So then in this case, what happens is when Arjuna fights, he will do it as a duty and hence he will remain detached from the war. He will remain detached from the outcome of the war. This will give Arjuna the unshakable peace. If he kills many people or gets killed, he's not very much worried. He's just fighting for Krishna. So in the shloka 5.12, there is a comparison between a karma kandi and karma yogi. In this case, it can be also vikarmi. These karmi and vikarmis are attached to the results of work, and hence they will get entangled in the results of work. Krishna here is categorically categorically declaring that it is not the action which is binding, but it is the motivation which is binding. Yukta karma phalam taktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. One who is engaged in devotional service, the results of all activities given up, shantim, perfect peace, achieves unflinching, perfect peace is achieved. Ayukta, one who is not in Krishna consciousness, Kama Karena, for enjoying the results of work. In the result, Sakta, attached, Nibhadyate. So, the first two part of this verse talks about Karma Yogi. The second two part of the shloka is talking about Karma Kandi. So, Srila Prabhupada is making a profound statement related to this point in the purport. If you see the last line, therefore, activities in Krishna consciousness are in absolute play. They are transcendental and have no material effect. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness, but one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have that peace. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence behind Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness. The meaning of this line is that everything works under the sanction of Krishna. Without Krishna's sanction, nothing works. Everything in existence is Krishna's energy. So when we see everything separate from Krishna, it is illusion. And when we see everything in relation to Krishna, then it is reality. So this gives peace. This is talked about in this shloka. Everything you do as a work for Krishna. So fearlessness is a very important thing. What takes away our peace is fear. We are in constant anxiety. What can go wrong? What can go wrong? When we understand that there is nothing beyond Krishna, then we get unflinching peace. We come out of the fear. Shanti apnoti naishtikya. Why we get peace? Because we do not have any fear. So, so this is that is why Prabhupada is relating. We get peace and fearlessness. If we have fear, we cannot. We always in anxiety. So next shloka, Krishna is talking about one more beautiful example. Let us go to that shloka. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasa yaste sukam vashi. Navadvara puredehi naiva kurvanna karayam. Shukam is in this case we can consider as a synonym for peace. So sarva karmani manasa, when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions. Sarva karmani manasa. By mind, every activity, sannyasa este. If he renounces, then he gets peace. He resides happily in the city of nine gates, which is material body. Navadvara Dware Kuredehi. This is city of nine gates. So we see Jagannath Puri. Puri is the Jagannath, the place of Jagannath. That is why we call it as Jagannath Puri. Mathura Puri, Vrindavan Puri. These are all places. So Navadvare is referring to the human body, material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Naiva kurvanna karayan. So is neither working nor causing work to be done. He is just mentally renounces all actions and he resides neither working nor causes working. So we need to understand what neither working nor causing work to be done. So Krishna is here talking about manasa, sannyasas. There is a concept of called as manasa puja. If one cannot do worship of Lord directly, he can do it in mind. This is termed as manasa puja. If we want to offer precious jewelry to beautiful deity, but we do not have sufficient funds, then we can offer that in our mind. Krishna accepts it. Krishna only sees the bhava, our intention. This is at devotional level or bhakti yoga level. But now, right now, we are talking about karma yogi level. The understanding is that I am not the doer. However, the body has some needs. These needs are to be fulfilled. So the focus of the karma yogi is to engage only on those activities to take care of the basic needs of the body. Things will which will entangle him emotionally will be given up by him. So Navadware Pure Dehi. This is referring to city of nine gates. So Dehi here is the possessor of the body, and in this case, it is called as it is the soul who is living in the city of nine gates. Naiva Kurvanna Karya. Such person will neither be a doer nor will be the motivator for any other work. Now let us understand this. Neither working or not causing work to be done. So if you see text number 3.1, Arjuna was Jayasi Cheta Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tata Kim Karmani Gore Mam Niyojayasi Keshava. Um, so what is the translation? Translation is Arjuna said, "Oh Janardana, oh Keshava, why do you want me to engage in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruity work?" And if you see 5.13, when the embodied living entity, so in this one, Krishna is pointing out that by fighting, neither is doing any work, nor Krishna is making him to do any work. So that is what it means here, neither working nor causing work to be done. That means Krishna is doing any work. Krishna is pointing out by fighting, neither Arjuna is doing any work or nor Krishna is making him to do any work. So it is the material nature which is doing the work. Naiva kurvannagana. So who is doing the work? To the extent we think that we are doing the work, we will get entangled in the material world. So who is doing the work? It is the material nature which is doing the work. And he is not doing any work. So in the purport, we can see that Srila Prabhupada is talking about the city of nine gates. That is the main focus. Read now we can see that Navadvare Pure Dehi Amso Leela Yate Pahi Vashi Sarvasya Lokasya Stavarasya Characharasya Cha. The Supreme Personality of God who is living within the body of living entity is the controller of all living entities all over the universe. The body consists of nine gates, two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, one mouth, the anus, and the genitals. The living entity in this conditioned stage identifies himself with the body, but when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as Lord even while in the body. Shvetashara Upanishad 3.18. So the soul is related with Krishna. It is related with Krishna, and the body is a product of material energy. The soul has to use the body for service of Krishna. What happens is the material modes drive the actions of the body. But when we dovetail activities for fulfillment of Krishna, we raise above the material modes. Therefore, we act, no, we are not causing, nor neither working, nor causing any work to be done. So the material modes are not diverting our work, and we are doing work only for Krishna. So that is how this is understood. We will have a much more clarity as we go forward in this chapter. So the nine holes are the gates through which the living entity interacts with the world. It is through these nine gates that he gets entangled onto this material world. So if you see here, two eyes, we can see sense objects. Two nostrils, we can smell sense objects. Two ears, through that we can interact, hear nice music. One mouth, we can eat whatever we want. We can eat sinful foods. The anus, through anus, we whatever we have eaten, it comes out. We get serious disease using through our anus, through this entire food passage from mouth to anus is prone to a lot of disease, and it is because of karmic reactions of different foods that we have taken. So it anus usually takes the results of bad karma. Genitals, we engage genitals in getting children, Krishna conscious children. A sinful soul will use genitals to engage in sense gratification and get entangled. Genitals also are the place where we get lot of disease because of engaging them in sense gratification. So with knowledge gaining senses, we understand sense organs. So in this case, two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, one mouth. One mouth means in this case it is referring to tongue. These are all knowledge acquiring senses. And the something called as working senses. In this case, the whole anus and genitals are working senses. Of course, there is a patch of skin on genitals which gives sense gratification. So there is a sense of touch on genital, which is also a knowledge acquiring senses. So we engage in sense gratification through this. This results in entanglement. Fundamentally, the interaction of the soul with the external world happens through these nine gates. A well protected city guards the city from entry and exit of people into the city. Only bona fide citizens, if they are allowed to trespass this city gate, then there is a good regulation. This is regulation and control to secure and protect the city. Same way, we need to protect ourselves from entanglement by regulating and controlling our senses. A karma, a karma yogi allows only necessary actions or functions of the body. Beyond this, karma yogi does not become emotionally involved in activities or functions of the body. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasa yaste sukamashi. So, sarva karmani, all activities are mentally given up and he gets peace. Why mentally given up? We are giving up in terms of emotional detachment because the sense and sense objects are related with a clear understanding that this I'm doing because I will not get any happiness whatsoever by engaging in sense gratification of the sense objects. So this is the thinking of the karma yogi. Further, there is an understanding that by doing this, karma yogi is not getting entangled in the material world, and karma yogi knows that he is moving towards the liberation. So, naiva kurvanna karya. Naiva kurvanna, this means that I will not engage in activities of sense gratification, nor will I motivate anyone to engage in sense gratification. For example, I cook food. I cook food, I offer it to Krishna. So, in general, when we cook to satisfy our senses. So, I uh, am neither working for my senses and when I give that food to somebody else to also eat, because it is not offered to Krishna, I am causing somebody else to take take the taste the food. So I am motivating somebody else through my actions to eat the food. So I engage their senses. I am also engaging my senses. By doing this, we get into entanglement. But when I offer it to Krishna, there is no question of sense gratification. Then I am only eating the food which is offered to Krishna. And when I give that food, that prasad to somebody else, he is also not motivated for sense gratification. It is not a sense gratification activity. It is a question of honoring the prasad. So this means that I will not engage in activities of sense gratification, nor will I motivate anyone to engage in sense gratification. So that is what it means. How does this apply to Arjuna? So Arjuna is a Kshatriya. The basic duty of Arjuna is to fight against adharma. This he has to do. This the sense gratification for him is to engage in unnecessary warfare or aggrandizement. False renunciation in this case will not be fighting for sake of establishing a righteous rule. Is not fighting for sake of establishing a righteous rule. This understanding will ensure that he does not get bound by the material entanglement. This will aid him in his spiritual journey. So Arjuna being Kshatriya, he has to do his basic duty of protecting Dharma. Therefore, he has to see whether he has to fight or not fight. In this case, he has to fight. It is not personal aggrandizement, nor is it building a larger kingdom. It is just establishment of Dharma. So he is working right. He is walking in a right direction, and this will not get him bound in material entanglement. This will aid him in his spiritual journey. That is all we understand. Let us go to the next shloka. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु न कर्म फल संयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. So this is shloka number 5.14. The embodied spirit soul, master of the city of this body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to have, nor does he create the fruit of action. All this is enacted by modes of nature. So this is continuation of the theme the same thread of thought. So Krishna is continuing the same thread of thought. So who is the doer? The soul, which is the living entity, has nothing to do with the activities of the material body, results of the body, the results of the activities of the body, or the motivation for others to act. When the soul thinks that he is the reaper of the fruits of his activities or he is the doer, then he gets entangled. That is what Krishna is trying to explain here. Therefore, who is the doer? The doer is the material nature. Swabhavastu pravartate. Swabhavas means the modes of material nature. Tu pravartate, act. So it is the material nature being which directs us. So Bhagavad Gita is now offering a profound vision here. The body is a mission. This mission is a product of three modes of material nature. The soul is independent of this body. When the soul identifies with the body, it gets entangled in the material nature. But when it utilizes the body to come out of the entanglement, it is not found. Thus, Krishna is telling Arjuna, the body which you have got has some basic propensities. Utilize them to fulfill the prescribed duties without attachment to results. This will free Arjuna. That is what Krishna is trying to do. So, Prabhupada is giving a very, very nice instruction here. As long as he's in the city of the body, he appears to be master of it, but actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its action and reaction. He is simply in the midst of material ocean, struggling for existence. So this body is, will explain it. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil. So this means that sometimes we feel passionate. Yes, I will prove myself or my capability. Sometimes we feel like not to do anything. We are convinced we can't do anything about anything. We feel lazy and therefore we sleep and we relax. This is mode of ignorance. So sometimes we are contemplative. We use our intelligence to understand the problems of life and think how I can come out of it. These waves of modes of material nature are the waves of material ocean. So based on these waves, the body behaves in a particular way. So the body is responding to the modes of material nature. And we are not able to see the modes, but we can perceive it by the way we act. Therefore, when we dovetail our activities for Krishna, the impact of these ways on our day-to-day activities is gradually reduced. That is why we need to go to Shuddha Sattva platform, Shuddha Sattva modes. So devotional activities are on Shuddha Sattva platform. So when we get up early in the morning, take bath and cold water. We have to get up at 3:50, take bath in cold water. Then we clean the place where we stay. Then we prepare ourselves for Mangalarti, do Mangalarti, then uh, complete our 16 rounds, follow four regulative principles, then take only offer nice boga to Krishna, take Krishna Prasadam, read Srila Prabhupada's books. When we do this, our body gets purified. The nine-fold body gets purified. And this purification helps us to always be in above the three modes of material nature. Of course, we feel sleepy, we feel tired, we get disturbed when there is a non-availability of enough funds. But when we think, apply that in for Krishna, then we can raise above the three modes of nature. So we need to start practicing, good sadhana every day. Then we come to understand that we are not this body. And this body is just an instrument which we need to utilize for Krishna. So these waves of modes of material nature are the waves of material ocean. In fact, this body is a product of modes of nature. Yeah, so by constantly applying in Krishna consciousness, we can purify the body. By using genitals to get Krishna conscious children, we purify the genitals. By using the tongue only to speak about Krishna and eat only Krishna prasadam, we purify the tongue. By using our intelligence to think about Krishna conscious topics, we purify our intelligence. So all this purifies, gradual purification happens. So um, we are having this disease of jaundice. The cure for jaundice is sweet candy. So the sweet candy we need to take. That is the treatment. So this sadhana is the treatment to come out of this material disease. When we constantly do this sadhana, we will not have taste for this sadhana. But when we keep doing this, then it purifies our taste. So then we gradually give up our lower limits and move towards Shuddha Sattva platform, and then sadhana becomes a regular activity for us. So we need a strong connection with Krishna to get into the boat to pass over this ocean of material existence. So this strong connection with Krishna is our sadhana. The Varna Ashrama system helps us in this path to adapt our frame of mind with particular ashrama and particular Varna and make steady progress in spiritual life by linking us with Krishna with the process of bhakti and help us to come out of this material existence. So these are all very very important points to understand. So Prabhupada as uh, in every chapter by bringing about Krishna consciousness, he has given sutra. It is given a simple rule. If we do this, we will come out of the modes of nature. We need not have to be a karma yogi. We can directly get into bhakti yogi platform. We can directly practice Krishna consciousness. So that is very very nice. This entire subject is so interesting. The more we study about it, it becomes and we are able to appreciate it. And the way mercifully Prabhupada has put all this in book form so that we can read it and realize this, understand it, and apply it in our life. Okay, with this note, let us go to the next shloka. Next shloka is very, very interesting. Na datte kaschit कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभो अज्ञानेन आवृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यति जन्तवा. So there is one interesting thing that we need to know here. Okay, I think that slide is okay. Talk of this chapter, fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, as one of the shortest, less shortest. It is one of the shortest chapter. It has approximately 29 shlokas. Um, so chapter 1 has around 46 shlokas. Chapter 2 has around 72 shlokas. Chapter 3 is having around 43 shlokas. Chapter 4 is around 42. So principally large chapters have more than 70 shlokas. Most of the average number of shlokas is between 42 to 45. So in that way, chapter number 5 is having the lesser number of shlokas. So now chapter number 12 and 15 have the least of all the shlokas. They have only 20 shlokas. They are very beautiful. Chapter 12 is Bhakti Yoga, titled Bhakti Yoga. Chapter 15 is titled Purushottama Yoga, Yoga of the Supreme Person. Chapter 15. Now, chapter 5 is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Prabhupada puts it as action in Krishna consciousness. Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So, in shloka number 14, the shloka before this, we saw Swabhavastu. There is a line which says Swabhavastu Pravartate. It is the material nature who is the doer. Soul is not the doer, but all actions are enacted by the three modes of material nature. So in this verse, we are we need to understand who is the ultimate cause of action. For example, I am born as lowest of the human species. Who is responsible for this? Am I responsible for this? Is Supreme Personality of God responsible for this? Who is responsible for this? Um, who is responsible for me getting this body? So this is something which we need to understand. If it is modes of nature, how is it modes of material nature? So let us see this shloka. Nadatte kasyachit papam naiva nachaiva krukritam vivo ajnanena avritam jnanam tena mohyanti jantava. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone sinful or pious activity. So Krishna is clearly telling it is not he who is responsible for me getting this body. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers the real knowledge. So, is it something to do with knowledge? Nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vivo. These lines tell Lord is not responsible for our sinful act or pious act. Then Agnena Avritam Jnanam Tena Muhyanti Jantava. The knowledge of the living entity is covered. Ajnanena Avritam Jnanam. The knowledge is covered by ignorance. So there is a similar verse in chapter 3, 3.39. Avritam Jnanam Etena Jnanino Nitya Vairina. Kamarupena Kaunteya Dushpurena Analena Cha. The wise living entity is pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. This is the response of Krishna, Arjuna's question, which is Takena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichena api vashneya balad eva niyojita. So, what is the reason that I engage in sinful activities? So, what is it? It is the consciousness being covered. So, Prabhupada here is using jnanam to mean pure consciousness. And in this current shloka, Ajnanena jnanam, jnanam, Prabhupada is telling it as knowledge. Okay, so the covering here is referring to knowledge of the soul. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. Ajnanena avritam jnana. Ajnana means ignorance. So knowledge is covered by ignorance. And in 3.39, the consciousness is covered by lust. So one way we can see our knowledge is our comparing this to shlokas, we can see that the ignorance is driven by our lust, and consciousness or knowledge, these are, let us consider them right now as synonyms, but it is the ignorance which is driven by the lust, which covers the conditioned soul. The living entity is covered by body and mind, hence is conditioned, and this body and mind is because of the sinful activities which he has done, which is driven by lust, which is because of the ignorance. So let us stop here. We will discuss further on this topic in our next session. Thank you very much. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय। जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर भक्त जय। हरे कृष्णा।